Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So in today's video, we're doing another crypto passive income experiment update. This is for week 20 and quite a few changes to go through this week. The first one is, as you can see here, I've struck off this road to $1 million in stablecoins with everything that's kind of happened with Terra Luna, UST, and various other bits and bobs. I just don't think it's going to be feasible to kind of like look towards that this year anymore. We may well revisit it at a later stage, but I don't think it's kind of worth just keeping an eye on those when there's only kind of a few thousand in various kind of bits and bobs. So I've struck this off for now. I've removed the sheets that we were tracking our kind of stablecoin kind of targets, but we're going to crack on with our main goal, which was $130,000 in passive income. So that equates to $2,500 a week. And let's jump straight in and have a look at the figures. What I'll do is I'll talk through any changes as and when we get to them. Firstly, the interest account. So $9 from Celsius, $32 from HODLNOT, $37 from Nexo, and $6 from YieldApp. I have made a few changes here. I've withdrawn my Bitcoin from Celsius. I think that was just over a week ago. And I've made a few other kind of like tweaks. I've withdrawn a bit from Ledden. The tiers dropping down quite a lot on that over the last week. And I have switched some of the bits. I think I switched some of the bits in YieldApp from, I think I consolidated some of my positions that I had a few different kind of coins in there, and I think YieldApp is now just Bitcoin. I did the same thing with kind of Celsius, so sold off some of the smaller coins, moved that all over into either stable coins or Bitcoin across the kind of board in all these kind of platforms. So no massive changes apart from that, but just wanted to make you aware of a few little tweaks over the last week. Moving on to staking, really poor week for Cardano. We only received one stake, but for some reason it was dramatically less than we normally kind of get. I'm not quite sure why. I haven't really looked into it yet, but yeah, just the one stake for Cardano. Solana, that's all in Frankium, which is in the DeFi section now, so I'm not doing any traditional kind of staking of Solana, and obviously nothing in Luna at the moment either. Moving on to the DeFi, so we do have some changes here which I'll go through in a minute, but essentially $77 from Polygon, $64 from Phantom, and $65 from Solana, and nothing for Avalanche or Terra Luna. My Avalanche is currently kind of unbonding. That should be back with me, I think, in the next week, so look out for some liquidity pools for Avalanche going forward, certainly in the next kind of 1 or 2 weeks. So a grand total this week of $292. Now, I just do want to make mention of, I think this is the first time that Polygon has overtaken Phantom, and this is really just due to so little in Phantom at the moment, but I do have some additional kind of coins in Phantom that are in beefy.finance, and I haven't found a decent way to get kind of like stats for those yet. So my own kind of like liquidity pools that I'm kind of managing myself, stuff on kind of Spooky Swap and stuff that was on Tomb Finance in the past, it's quite easy. So, you know, I let them kind of like accumulate and then withdraw once a week or once a day or whatever it is, and then I can make note of those figures. But with Beefy Finance, it just kind of auto compounds, so there's not an easy way of keeping track of that. So I need to try and find a way. If anybody's got any suggestions, do let me know in the comments below. But as I said, $292 this week. Grand total so far this year of $58,556. If we jump over to the DeFi pools, so Solana, just Frankium, just the lend. I have made some changes to Polygon. I have switched from a Matic quick pool over to Matic USDC. The Dragon's Lair is exactly the same, and then on Phantom I have added Phantom USDC. This is a Tomb liquidity pool, but I'm actually auto compounding it on Beefy Finance, as well as I have a tiny little based my pool. I think it's just about $1,000, something like that, in that I've still got just sat there in Beefy Finance. We will see if Tomb ever recovers peg. If Tomb ever recovers peg, based obviously is pegged to Tomb, so if Tomb recovers its peg to kind of Phantom, might kind of cash out of this and put it into kind of Phantom USDC or something else. And I'm maintaining my Phantom Boo pool. That's actually performed pretty well over the last week. Price of Boo and Phantom has been going pretty well over the last 7 days after pretty appalling few months of a downward price action. Moving on to the graphs, you can see here we're right down here around this kind of $300 a week mark. As I said, this doesn't include the Beefy Finance reward, so it would be a little bit higher, but no easy way of doing that at the moment, so I need to look into that in a little bit more detail. And then moving on to our cumulative target, you can see we're still ahead of our kind of target, but we're rapidly heading back towards it. At this rate, probably be back towards our kind of target somewhere around the middle of the year, around week 25. Week 26. So that's it for this week. A bit of a brief update, but just a few little changes to some of the DeFi pools and a few little changes within some of the kind of coins that I'm holding in some of these kind of interest accounts. So really just a sort of consolidation week. So made a few kind of changes. We will look at things going forward. We'll get the Avalanche back up and running. We'll get some liquidity pools for Avalanche back up, and we'll find a way of incorporating the kind of beefy finance stats into the reports going forward as well. But apart from that, yeah, pretty sort of solid and undramatic kind of week. Bitcoin's floating around between sort of like 29 and 31,000. It goes up to 31,000, sits there for a few hours, drops back down to 29,000, sits there for a few hours, climbs back up to 31,000. So we're sort of like range bound, seemingly between around 29 and 31,000. Now, I would have liked to see a nice bounce from Bitcoin. Really, I think the longer you stay in these sideways kind of channels, the more chance there is of a downward a sort of breakout. So would like to see some positive action certainly from Bitcoin in the next kind of few weeks, but we seem to be a little bit range bound at the moment, tied into the larger kind of like financial kind of like markets, and risk on and risk off assets and stuff like that. So anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Let me know what you're doing with your Avalanche. I'm looking into liquidity pools there. Probably be looking back at Trader Joe's and stuff like that in the next week or so. So if there's anything that's working pretty well for you, do let me know in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching. As always, hope you're keeping safe and well. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. But until then, have a great day. Bye bye.